biggest changes you're going to find with our new machines is the new seat mounted controls and redesigned console inside the machine. We've taken a lot of steps to tune the seat mounted controls and not only from a performance standpoint but from an ergonomic standpoint. With these seat mounted controls, starting with the tilting steering wheel, you can see Adrian just lifted the steering wheel up. It's also telescopic, and we also introduce a feature that we call variable speed steer. So it reduces the number of steering wheel rotations required to go from lock to lock, and it's based off hydraulic flow. So it measures the hydraulic flow as you turn the wheel, and the faster you turn it, the more flow it creates, and so the less rotations it takes. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio. It goes from about 5.5 rotations down to 2.5 rotations to go from lock to lock, and it's completely seamless and transparent to the operator. There's no special buttons to press. When you get into the seat mounted controls, there's a seat position sensor, so it knows when you're facing forward, and when you're facing forward, your right hand joystick controls the loader control, and your left hand joystick is dead unless you give it the command of dual mode to activate that and run the back end of the machine if you need to. If you're needing to sweep a little bit as you're moving by a trench and you don't want to necessarily spin around and set the machine back up and sweep back into the trench, you can slowly move forward and sweep that material moving forward, or push plates across trenches and things like that. So it's just a activation of a button and squeezing and holding the trigger to make that happen. With these controls, you can adjust them forward and aft for your comfort level or how long or short your arms may be. As you spin around to the back of the machine, your controls stay with you, and it knows there's a sensor. When you have the seat locked into the back position, your backhoe controls become live. So as you spin in between fully forward and fully reverse, the controls are dead. So there's no accidental bumping the controls as you spin. They're completely dead. And the controls will not activate unless you have the steering wheel completely up in the up lock position. Again, just to be sure that we don't accidentally hit those controls. So as you're facing rear, we still have the standard controls with the horn on the joystick. You have thumb rollers for your E-stick and for your aux control, your combo lines, what we call them. And then we also have your EH controls that you're able to control your boom and your stick. One of the things that we did is we took a look at our stabilizers, and we completely redesigned our stabilizers for a more stable machine. With that, we changed our stabilizer controls. We've gone to full EH stabilizer controls that are now fingertip controlled rather than the large levers that we've had in the past. And all those come with a standard auto up feature. You'll also notice that we've redesigned our operator display. It's a full LCD operator display now that we control our pattern changer. So you can run excavator style or backhoe style off the back end. You can also control things like adjustable aux flow on the front and the rear. You can set continuous flow on the front now as well. So if you're running a broom, you can run continuous flow and not have to hold the thumb wheel forward the entire time. With the loader controls that we have now in place and the EH technology, we now can set things like kick out, so you can set that height to a certain location to take the guesswork out of the operator's hands. They go ahead and preset the height, and all they have to do is pull the lever all the way back into the detent, and it'll raise it to that height and stop every single time in the same location. You can also set return to dig, which is bucket angle positioning. So if they're loading a truck with a set of forks and they have to have that angle of the forks a certain location every single time, they can set that either to the rack or the dump position, and they can get into those fork pockets without any guesswork at all.
You know, with all the features in the cab, this is the same cab virtually that we fit onto the 420 and the 460, so it shares the same cab now across the range. Also, one of the big things with this cab is noise levels. We've got real low noise levels inside this cab, so for operators it's a real nice working environment. all the extra storage space in there now for all those little extras that people have these days. And like sort of you've seen with the Mini X and things like that as well, you know, we've got Bluetooth technology with the radio, we've got charging points, we've got all that sort of technology that, you know, the modern operator demands these days.